What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Shuffle Squad. My name is Josh, bringing you another brand new deck list video. Today, we are going to be covering Arceus VSTAR with the brand new Deoxys VMAX promo card. Before we hop into things, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. Atlas TCG, make sure you use the code TSS12 to get 12% off the store. PTCGO store, you can use the code TSS5 to get 5% off. Pokéx Word, and of course, the Shuffle Squad Patreon, where you can find a whole slew of articles and deck lists by yours truly, as well as all the other Shuffle Squad members. So we are just going to go right ahead and hop into the deck list. Jumping right into the list here, we did model this deck a bit closer to an Arceus Duraludon, Arceus Goodra style of deck, where you really just want to get down an Arceus and then set up 2 VMAXs, forcing your opponent into an 8 prize game. Now, looking at Deoxys VMAX, the brand new box promo, it has 330 HP and the ability Protective DNA, which says all of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V-Star. Now, we all know that V-Star Pokemon are absolutely dominating the format. Giratina V-Star, Palkia V-Star, Arceus V-Star. This Protective DNA ability makes it so that you're going to take less damage from cards like that, as well as the fact that this ability is stackable. So if we are able to get both of our Deoxys VMAX online, you are going to be taking 60 less damage from V-Star Pokemon. And this is all of your Pokemon. So not only will your Deoxys be protected, all of your other Pokemon will be protected as well. We also have the max drain attack, which for a psychic and 2 colorless does 160 damage and then heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. So not only are we taking less damage, we're also healing some damage as well. We are going to take a look at Deoxys V. Pretty standard V Pokemon, 210 HP psychic type. It has the psychic attack for a psychic and colorless, does 30 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then Power Edge for 2 psychic and a colorless is going to do 140 damage. The next thing we're going to look at is Deoxys VSTAR, 270 HP. You get 2 Psychic and a colorless. Psychic Javelin does 190 damage and then 60 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon V. Now that 60 damage to the bench is a nice number. As we know, Deoxys VMAX max drain is doing 160, so if early game you're able to hit a Pokemon V for 160, most of them have 220 HP. Later in the game, if they haven't evolved that Pokemon V, you can snipe that off with the Psychic Javelin. And then the V-Star Power Star Force. This attack does 60 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. If you don't ever use Arceus' V-Star Power, which is unlikely, but if you don't, you can get to really, really big numbers. Especially when you use double turbo energy, because that does count for 2 energy in that requirement. We are playing a 4-2 line of Arceus V-Star. We all know Arceus V-Star, the big bad man on campus for the format. You do Trinity Nova 200, search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards, attach them to any of your V Pokemon in any way you like. And the nice thing about this is that you can put a Psychic safely on 2 Deoxys V, because all you need to do is attach a double turbo energy to be able to use that max drain attack. We are also playing a 1-1 Espeon VMAX. I'm sure most of you know what Espeon VMAX does by this point in the format. That Solar Revelation ability prevents all effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to all of your Pokemon that have energy attached. This is really great into decks like Lost Box. Prevents that Sableye from spreading damage onto your Pokemon with energy, which is just absolutely huge. Max Mindstorm does 60 damage times 60 for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon, which in a pinch can be quite strong against a number of decks. And then we are playing the 1 copy of Radiant Gardevoir, which says all of your Pokemon take 20 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon V. So if you have 2 Deoxys VMAX down and the Radiant Gardevoir down, your Pokemon are taking a whopping 80 less damage from your opponent's attacks, which is just absolutely crazy. On to our trainer lines. This is a pretty standard healing Arceus deck trainer line. We are playing the 3 copies of Hyper Potion. 2 Evo Incense, 1 Ordinary Rod, basically as a way to sort of mitigate the potential of Echoing Horn from your opponent. It's just in the deck so that if at some point you have a Pokemon V that you don't want in your discard pile to try and prevent the Echoing Horn, you can Ordinary Rod it back in. 2 Pokégears, 4 Quick Ball, 2 Switch just in case you start the Deoxys, you start the Espeon, you can get into the Arceus V pretty easily, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Lost City. Now, some of you are going to be a little bit confused by this inclusion. I think Lost City is quite good at beating Sablezard, especially now that Giant Cape is more popular in those Lost Box decks. This allows you to remove their potential to Clara back their Radiant Charizard. If you play the Lost City on the turn that you knock out the Radiant Charizard, if you have Espeon VMAX in play, they don't have a way to damage your Pokemon, and you can win the game that way fairly easily and fairly consistently. We're playing 1 copy of Training Court, just as a way to get back some of that energy after you Hyper Potion it off. 2 copies of Boss's Orders. You're not going to need to Boss's Orders that frequently, but you'd like to be able to do it to finish up KOs on your opponent's Pokemon VMAX and V-Star. 3 Marnie. 3 Professor's Research, just standard draw supporters, and then 1 copy of Roxanne, just as a way to sort of come back against opposing decks that get ahead quite early. We are playing 1 copy of Air Balloon. Most of our Pokemon have 2 retreat costs. The only one that doesn't is Deoxys VMAX, which has 3, but it's very infrequent you're going to be retreating Deoxys VMAX anyways. 2 copies of Big Charm, giving Deoxys 360 effective health, which is just absolutely insane. 390 if you're playing against a deck like Palkia or against an Arceus deck as well. And then 4 double turbo energy and 9 psychic energy. So that's the list. We are going to go ahead and hop right into some games. It looks like we do win the coin flip. We are going to get to go first here. We do mulligan. This would be a pretty good hand if not for the mulligan. If this Hyper Potion was an Arceus V, we would really be chilling actually with this position. We did have the DT, but if we start Arceus energy, that's basically all that we are looking for here. They do get their Pokemon down. They're taking a bit of time to be able to select their cards. Hopefully they pick up the pace just a little bit, but if not, that's okay. We'll be just fine. Hello, sir? All right, there we go. We're gonna shuffle our cards back into our deck, allow our opponent to draw the 1 card. We do have Arceus plus energy. We also have a Professor's Research for the next turn. This is pretty much all we could ever ask for. Our turn 1 is probably going to look mostly like this. We are going to go ahead and Quick Ball a Psychic Energy. We are going to grab a Deoxys V, bench that. We are going to go ahead and attach a Psychic Energy to our Arceus V. We are against the Reggie deck, which could be problematic for us. That Regigigas can do a lot of damage to us. But I think what we're going to want to do is go in with that Deoxys V-Star. I think that's going to end up helping us quite a bit. We also have the Lost City, which should give us the opportunity to at least hinder our opponent somewhat. This next turn, ideally, we'll be able to Lost City this Regirock. And if the other one's prized, even if they have another one. Oh, wow. Actually, our opponent might be able to just knock us out turn 1. That's not going to be very good for us if that ends up being the case. So let's see. Do they have something like a Professor's Research? Do they have something? Okay, they do have the Capture Energy. They have a Scoop Up Nut. Okay, they're going to go ahead and pick up the Regirock, promote that Regidrago, draw 3 cards. All they need is to find access to a Regieleki here, and we're in trouble. They do go ahead and play the Hisuian Heavy Ball, and there is the Regieleki. We are getting absolutely sacked on this turn. Hopefully they have no way to switch into the Regirock. They don't. Okay, so at least we're going to have the opportunity to play the game a little bit. If they had gone ahead and taken the knockout on that Arceus, that could have been really bad for us. So we don't like to see the second Hyper Potion in hand. Ideally, we would get to keep that, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and research. We do get the Arceus V-Star. We're going to go ahead and attach the double turbo energy. I'm trying to consider if I want to use Starbirth here. I think it's probably optimal to. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and Starbirth. I think I'm going to grab the second Deoxys V. and grab a Professor's Research for next turn. Is our Lost City in there? Yeah, it is. Our Lost City is in the deck. That is kind of what we were hoping to see. This way we can get 2 of these things set up. That's pretty helpful. I am going to go ahead and put the Espeon V down. We do need that to deal with that Blizzard Bind attack. And we will just Trinity Nova for the knockout here. Getting 3 Psychic Energy. And I think what we're actually going to do is go ahead and attach 1 to each Deoxys V. And then do I want one on the Espeon? I don't think so. I think we'd rather put the Psychic Energy on one of the Deoxys V so that we can go ahead and evolve that into a Deoxys V-Star at some point in the game. They do promote the Regirock. I'm not sure that that was the optimal play. They'd probably prefer to attach with Regieleki here. They do take the knockout either way, and then they'd be able to put damage on each of our benched Deoxys. They play the Pokemon Go Professor's Research. That's a pretty cool looking card. I don't think I've seen that on TCGO before. They go ahead and bump our Lost City. A little bit of a shame. It's going to be a little bit difficult probably to find the other Lost City. We do only play 1 of them. So what we would like ideally is the ability to Boss's Orders that Regidrago on the same turn that we get the Lost City down. Gonna go ahead and promote our Deoxys V. Gonna go ahead and attach the double turbo active. I'm gonna Pokégear. If I can find the Marnie, I think I'd rather play that here. Power Edge isn't taking the knockout right now, so ideally we are going to find an evolution. We don't. Does Psychic take the knockout here? 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponents. They have 4. So actually, because they attach the extra energy, we can just go ahead and take the knockout here. I'm not going to bump the Pokestop here. I don't think it's worth it. I could use Pokestop. My issue with that is that if we get rid of the Lost City, that could cause a lot of problems for us. So I think I am just going to Psychic, take the KO here, and see what they have in response. They shouldn't have a way to knock out our Deoxys V here, which is good, because if they did, we'd be in a lot of trouble. They promote Regice. I wonder if they know that Espeon VMAX is preventing... Oh, no, never mind. No, it is not. There is the Path to the Peak, turning off Espeon's ability. That'll make it so their Blizzard Bind attack does actually affect us. Although I can go ahead and evolve this turn. I can get that Deoxys V-Star, which will take the Blizzard Bind effect off of our Deoxys. They do Blizzard Bind, they do 100 damage. Not the nicest thing in the world that they could have done. Actually, we don't even need to Ultra Ball. That's great. We'll just go ahead and evolve. I did already use my V-Star power. I'm trying to think if it's worth it to Boss's Orders a Regirock here. I could force them to have an Ordinary Rod this turn. I think I would rather save the Boss's Orders for that Regidrago. Do I want to bump? Yeah, I think I do want to go ahead and bump the Path to the Peak, though. We will just Training Court. I can get an extra energy onto my Deoxys V. And then we will go ahead and use the Psychic Javelin attack. Going down to 3 prizes. As of right now, they don't actually have a way to take the knockout on our Deoxys V-Star. They will need to find a Choice Belt. They do Quick Ball. I'm sure they're going to be able to find another Regice just fine. And then they'll get to draw 3 cards with the Dragon's Horde ability. Let's see. They are down 1 Ordinary Rod. They're down 2 Stadiums. So if they bunch another Stadium, that could be good. They just have the Choice Belt in hand. Fair enough. So they are going to be able to take the knockout here. If they do bump our Training Court, that could put us in a little bit of trouble as well, as we don't currently have energy in hand, and they do go ahead and bump it. Psychic right now is only doing... Yep, it's 10 damage short of a knockout here. We're still going to promote the Deoxys V. We'll see what we can draw into. We do draw into the Marnie. That's very lucky. So we are going to go ahead and grab our Deoxys VMAX. Should I Ordinary Rod here? I don't think it's really that worth it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Marnie. Am I ever going to Ordinary Rod, I think is a better question. Actually, we are going to go ahead and Ordinary Rod some energy back into our deck, I think. That way we are likely to get it with the Marnie. Just go ahead and play that. We are also knocking out the Regidrago. We don't hit the Lost City, which is a little unfortunate, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. We are just going to go ahead and attach the Big Charm, making it so their Regigigas won't be able to take the KO. And we will go ahead and max Drain for the knockout. There's a boss's orders. It's not bad. We do have a switch in hand in case they go for the Blizzard Bind. Although we don't have a way to directly retreat, which could be problematic for us. It's going to depend quite a lot. Okay, so that's actually all right for us. We don't mind them bosses ordering our Espeon. We do have the switch. We can just go ahead and use the switch. It'll make it a lot easier. They play the Ordinary Rod. They get back Regigigas and Regice. That seems to imply to me that they have a third Regidrago in their deck. Because if they don't, they're not going to be able to use the Ancient Wisdom ability. Yep, they are playing the 240 damage Evolving Skies Regidrago. I would love to top deck Lost City. If I can top deck Lost City and just go ahead and Lost Zone this Regidrago, I think we're in a great position. They do Blizzard Bind. They're going to do 100 damage. I'm just going to go ahead and Pokégear, see what I can find. Nothing. We'll go ahead and switch into the Deoxys VMAX. Basically, now we're just hoping that they don't have immediate access to boss. They don't have the good Regidrago here with the Dragon Sword ability, so they can't draw extra cards. So unless this is a supporter card, we should be in an okay position. I am going to Evo Incense. I'm going to grab the Arceus VSTAR. I'm going to Quick Ball the Arceus VSTAR just to thin some cards out of my deck. I can grab the Radiant Gardevoir. I'm not sure if it's worth benching. All your Pokemon, no, they don't play any Vs, so it's definitely not. So we are just going to go ahead and max Drain. We'll take a prize card, see what we get. It is an Arceus V. Not the most helpful thing we could draw. We would love to draw into something that can see some more cards for us. But we are just looking for one more knockout here. And we should be pretty close to guaranteed it. They can go ahead and Blizzard Bind here. That could be problematic for us if they have an energy card in hand. They do have the Escape Rope. And they are just going to be able to put 3 energy on their Regidrago and attack us for 270 damage and take the win here. I'm not sure why they are delaying that victory, but that's all right. They are going to be able to do 270 damage, taking the KO and sealing this one up for themselves. That was a very close game, though. They did need to hit that Escape Rope here, or there was no chance they were going to be able to win. But we'll move on to the next one. Awesome. So hopping right back into things, our opponent does win the coin flip, meaning they get to choose whether or not they want to go first. Most decks in the format should choose to go first, and they do. They are going to go ahead and pick first. This is quite a good hand. We do have the Arceus V. We have access to Arceus VSTAR on our second turn. We also have our first turn energy, which is just absolutely massive for us here. Let's see what our opponent is rocking with, though. It looks like they may have access to another Pokemon they can put down, although that is never the correct choice. You should always flip your cards first. They do flip over the Duraludon V, meaning we are probably in an Arceus mirror match, although we did start the optimal starter while they are stuck with a Duraludon and attaching to the Duraludon as well. We are going to go ahead and put an energy on the Arceus V. We're going to Quick Ball the Radiant Gardevoir. You never have a reason to use Radiant Gardevoir in this matchup because Duraludon VMAX's Shred attack is going to prevent you from taking that damage reduction anyways. And then we're just going to pass. We could have Marnied here. We could have brought their hand size down, but they didn't do anything on their first turn. We already have Arceus VSTAR in hand, so there's no good reason to. They do just have the switch, which is a little annoying for us. They can go ahead and use the Trinity Charge attack. We don't have a way really to take a knockout on this Arceus V, but that is just fine as well. I am going to go ahead and evolve into the Arceus VSTAR. I'm going to put a big charm on our Deoxys. Then I'm going to Starbirth, and actually I'm going to grab the Espeon as well as the double turbo. Espeon VMAX here could be quite a threat if they attach a ton of energy. So we'll just go ahead and attach the double turbo. and Trinity Nova, putting 2 Psychic on our Deoxys and 1 Psychic on the Espeon V. They do take 180 damage. Hopefully they don't have access to Arceus V-Star in their hand. They must have just drawn the Arceus V because they would have started it or benched on their first turn if they didn't. Pokégear does look to hit something. They get the Colress's Experiment here. It's going to let them look at the top 5 cards of their deck. Obviously lost on 2 of them, putting the other 3 cards into their hand. Now, we just have to hope that they don't find access to Arceus V-Star. If they do, it's certainly not the end of the world. We do still have the KO on their Arceus V-Star, regardless of what they do. They do Lost Zone, a Switch, and a Double Turbo, and then just Power Edge. Wow, it looks like their hand did not give them anything. So we're going to go ahead and evolve into the Espeon VMAX, and I'm just going to Trinity Nova, taking this knockout here and getting more energy onto my Pokemon. Setting all of them up to 3 energy, meaning that at any point we can attach a Double Turbo and use Hyper Potion at will. We do get an Evolution Incense as well as a Professor's Research. The Professor's Research will be helpful. We don't have to give our opponent a fresh hand, especially off of what seemed like a fairly lackluster Colress. They do fail their Pokégear. Very unfortunate for them. They do Ultra Ball though, gonna allow them to get that Duraludon VMAX here. The beautiful Alt-Art Duraludon VMAX. They are gonna be able to take the knockout on our Arceus V-Star with Gmax Pulverization. They do attach the Big Charm, giving them 360 HP. I am gonna go ahead and attack with Espeon here. We are doing 240 damage, so not a number to scoff at. We are going to play our Evolution Incense, grabbing Deoxys VMAX here. Do I want to research this Hyper Potion? I don't think so. I think we would rather save it. There's not really a reason to switch up my hand this turn. 240 is also a perfect number where if they Hyper Potion, a second 240 will do enough to take the knockout. Although if they do use it with a basic energy, they'll go down to 3 energy. But I think that's just fine. We'll go ahead and max Mindstorm the Duraludon, 240 damage, bringing them quite close to a knockout, only 120 damage away. They did also get rid of a Hyper Potion. They do attach the Double Turbo, implying they have the Hyper Potion. Yep, they do go ahead and use that Hyper Potion. Unfortunately for them, we do have just enough damage to take the knockout here anyways. Unless they have Crystal Cave. If they do have Crystal Cave, they will be able to get themselves just outside of range. They play the Colress's Experiment. See what they go ahead and grab here. They are down to only 1 Hyper Potion, and they do just go ahead and scoop it up to us. So as you can see, Deoxys VMAX is an absolutely astoundingly powerful new card being brought in to the Sword and Shield through Lost Origin format. I don't know if it's going to have as many legs going into the Silver Tempest format, but it certainly seems to be a very powerful option right now. Among the likes of things like Arceus Goodra, Arceus Duraludon, you really have that ability to tank and heal with 360 effective HP, a very easy to set up attack, as well as healing built into the Pokemon. It is certainly a force to be reckoned with going forward. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen, make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTCGO Store to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at PTCGOstore.com.
Pokéx Word, the best place to get your fill of Pokemon-inspired puzzles. New puzzles are posted every day, and they recently launched a new Guess That Pokemon puzzle, which is a ton of fun to play. Go check them out at PokéXWord.com and be sure to follow them on Twitter for your chance to win a ton of PTCGO codes every month.
Check out the Late Night Series Season 6, brought to you by myself, Zach Lesage, and the Shovel Squad. We're going to be running a bunch of sick events for the Pokemon community, and they start on August 30th. So one thing you might be noticing here is that there's an EU time and an NA time. We have one at 12 p.m. Eastern, which works out to about 5 p.m. in London, and then we have one at 7 p.m. Eastern, which should help out a lot of players on the West Coast play in this event. That being said, we still have a lot of cool things going on. Expect similar prizing that we've had for other Late Night Series events. Expect better staffing, expect better tournament experiences, and of course we do have a stream going up for this season as well, and I will be streaming the event on Twitch. That being said, we have the whole season up on the Play Limitless website. Late Night 51 all the way through 70 runs until we hit the Invitational on November 5th. So check that out, sign up today, and support Zach Lesage Events and the Shuffle Squad. See you there.